Hey, what's going on, Read My Lips people? And we're back. Look, this video is hard for me to do. Okay? This is a tough one. This is a toughie. Because anybody that's watched my show, or listened to my show rather, you're doing a little bit of both. You're technically watching the video playing in the background, and you're listening to what the hell I gotta say. So, anybody that's been around for a while knows that Tulsi Gabbard is someone that I supported. And she was my number 2 choice as far as a Democratic candidate goes. Number 1 was Bernie. Tulsi was number 2. Warren wasn't that far behind. But as time progresses, as the candidates show their face more and more, and speak more and more, and get covered more and more, things start to change, right? And I've covered Tulsi, and I've covered how the media has smeared her. I've covered how she's RKO'd Kamala Harris, and so forth. Well, one of the reasons why I support a candidate like Bernie Sanders, like Tulsi Gabbard, is their belief in Medicare for all. And through the rankings, and Andrew Yang has, sort of come forth, and he moved up to my number 3. Warren fell, and now, as of this point, Andrew Yang is my number 2. And Tulsi Gabbard has decreased on my list of candidates that I'm aligning myself with. And one of the reasons why is she has come out pretty much against Medicare for all. Okay? 2 months ago, she spoke to Anderson Cooper, and she dropped a hint, or even more than a hint, she straight out told you that she was against Medicare for all. She wanted Medicare choice. And it really didn't get covered. It kind of fell by the wayside. I'm going to play that interview, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
You think for those who are embracing taking away private insurance from people, ultimately, is that just strategically, politically, a non-starter?
I don't know about the politics of it. I just think about it from the perspective of people, of the American people, that if all of a sudden you are taking away their choice, that's not a very American thing, in my opinion. I think our responsibility as leaders is to meet the challenge and address the problems that people are facing, that they are suffering because of big insurance and big pharma's influence over our healthcare system for so long, how they are profiting on the backs of sick people. So let's do our job, try to bring down the cost of healthcare in this country that's exorbitant, make sure people can get the quality care they need, and if they still choose that that's not what they want, they can go get the private insurance.
So yeah, that interview happened, and it sort of fell on deaf ears. Some people acknowledged it, but it pretty much was swept under the rug, right? And don't get me wrong, Tulsi is a solid candidate. Like, she really, for example, if you were to go, and I don't know why anybody does this, but if you were to go into like the comment section in a Fox YouTube video, or even in a CNN video, or things like that, in a Fox comment section, I happen to be perusing. They were like, well, Tulsi and the whole Democratic Party seems like the adult in the room. No wonder the Dems hate her, right? Literally what somebody had said. And to a sense, I agree, because again, she's very well spoken, she's articulate, and the policies that she was presenting made sense. She wasn't fake, right? She wasn't like doing a political impression like Pete Buttigieg, right? Or Beto O'Rourke. She seemed like a real person. She's fought for this country, and she was right on the policies. And one of those policies was Medicare for all. And so when this happened with Anderson Cooper, I guess people really didn't want to acknowledge it. They're like, well, maybe she meant something else. Maybe, I don't know what's going on. But then she went on NPR and again reiterated that she is not for Medicare for all. She's for Medicare choice. We're going to take a listen to that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
Say healthcare. Are you for Medicare for all? If you can just tick through the list more specifically.
Yes, I prefer to call it Medicare choice, where we are ensuring quality health care for all people, regardless of how little they may have in their pocket or their bank account, while maintaining their freedom of choice. If they've got an employer-sponsored plan or a union-sponsored plan that they're happy with, they should have the opportunity to do so. But the bottom line being that in the wealthiest nation in the world, there is no excuse that we still have far too many Americans who are underinsured or uninsured and who are one healthcare emergency away from total financial disaster.
Yeah. So, and so after the second time, where she clearly is telling you what she stands for, people started cutting a swath through her supporters, like Nico House. Listen, I don't know too much about him. I've seen him spring up occasionally, but he went on full Tulsi Gabbard defense mode. He is, I'm not going to say he's her biggest supporter. He's her biggest well-known supporter. By that meaning he, is into politics and sort of does this social media kind of thing. And he's an avid and well-known Tulsi Gabbard supporter. As was I. But he would put Tulsi as his number one for POTUS, whereas at one point she was my number two. And so Nico was making all sorts of defenses and literally lying, and coming at Bernie supporters' necks. I have no problem with anybody coming for a Bernie supporter's neck. Andrew Yang supporters do it all the time, right? As long as you come at my neck with facts and logic, what the fuck can I say? I can't say a goddamn thing to you. If you're like, hey, Bernie, et cetera, nuclear, or Bernie, federal jobs guarantee, right? If you have an issue with those things and you come at me with facts and logic, what can I say? There's nothing I can say except, okay, we can agree to disagree, and I acknowledge you, brother. But that's not the case with Nico. He was literally making shit up in defense of Tulsi Gabbard, and pretending like there was like a clause with Obama, and he pretended it was Bernie's clause, and just a whole bunch of shit. And this is not a Nico House bashing video, so I'm not gonna bash him forever. But you can see that happening with a lot of different Tulsi supporters. And look, if you support Tulsi Gabbard, it's okay to say, well, I don't agree with the fact that, she's not for Medicare for all. But I agree and align with everything else, so I'm going to continue to support Tulsi. It's okay to say that. Your candidate doesn't have to be 100% right about everything. That's not going to happen. There is no such thing as a perfect candidate where they have everything perfect. Somebody at some point is going to disagree with them and still want to support them because they may agree with them on other things. So let's go back to Bernie Sanders. I am a Bernie supporter, but the federal jobs guarantee, that doesn't really doesn't do it for me. So I can acknowledge and I can call that out, but still support Bernie Sanders. So I don't understand why Nico is going nuts over this. You can say, look, I think that's a bad call on the Medicare, not being for Medicare for all, but I align with everything else, so I'm going to continue to support her. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that's sort of what's been happening. It's people who's been, a lot of Bernie supporters, but people have been calling her out, and either she's being railroaded, or her fans come to her defense and don't come with logic and facts. And one thing you have to do is come with logic and facts. And while I'm on the subject, right, since I have your attention, Bernie supporters got to chill the fuck out too, right? I have 600, I have almost 650 subscribers, right? That's not a massive amount, but it's enough that I get a lot of comments, and a lot of them go to spam, and that's something I have to do. I have to continuously check my spam comments. I forget sometimes, because some of you guys put, you know, really relevant and substantive comments, but the way YouTube functions, it may just fucking put it in spam, and I have to remind myself to go check that shit out and put it in the comment section. So if you leave a comment and you see like it didn't get a response to it, or that I didn't respond to you, or I'm ignoring it, a lot of times that's just not the case. It went to spam, and I'll see it like 3 days later, and I'm like, oh shit, let me add this, right? But I at least try to like or heart something you guys give me, but I digress. There's a lot of Bernie supporters who don't like the fact that I fucks with Andrew Yang, right? And this is kind of segueing back to the Tulsi shit too. You can like a candidate and still acknowledge other candidates, right? So Bernie Sanders is who I'm supporting, but it does not mean I'm going to ignore the good things that Andrew Yang does, or maybe the shitty things Andrew Yang does, right? Tulsi could have been my number 2, but that does not mean I'm going to ignore anything negative that she does. I'm going to call that shit out too. And Bernie Sanders supporters have been kind of tight that I've been fucking with Andrew Yang, and you guys got to wheel that shit in, because it's making you look like crybabies. I'm a fucking Bernie supporter, and I'll shout Bernie's name until election time, until it comes time to cast that vote. That doesn't mean you can't acknowledge other people's fucking exceptionalism. You know what I mean? And you know, in my comments, I've gotten some shit like that. Fucking other Bernie supporters getting mad about that. And on social media, like, I've had a whole thread deleted, right? We're in a forum or in a group. I've had a whole thread deleted because I was up in Andrew Yang on some shit, right? And mostly everybody in the group was Bernie supporters, and they just didn't fuck, and they weren't fucking with the post that I put, because they were like, I don't want to hear anybody else's accomplishments. And I'm like, yo, you guys got to chill the fuck out. So pretty much Nico isn't the only one that goes rabid and vapid for their candidate, and doesn't want to hear anything else, and doesn't want to hear any of the negatives of their candidate. Grow up. Grow the fuck up, right? You can be a Bernie supporter and still acknowledge other candidates' accomplishments. And you can be a Tulsi supporter and still be like, yeah, but I don't agree with this. She fucked up on this. They're human. These people are human beings, and they fuck up sometimes from time to time. Or they might make bad judgment calls. Or to you, it might be a bad judgment call. To somebody else, it might be fantastic. But you're allowed to say, well, I don't agree with her choice here, or I don't agree with his choice here, right? So I'm getting off on a tangent, but I just felt the need to comment on that, because I was very surprised that it was from Bernie supporters that were being so whiny. They were being really whiny on the Andrew Yang shit. Calm the fuck down. You're allowed to talk about this. If the only person you want to talk about ever is Bernie Sanders and nobody else, then politics ain't for you. That being said, moving on. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, in my opinion, fucked up. She knows better. She should know better. And the way she's framing things, like, you should have a choice if you want to be exploited by this mafia-like system. That's pretty much what you're saying. Why are you okay with that? Like, what? Like, you're masquerading it as choice, but all you're doing is propping up the current system. That's really all you're doing. And it's really weird, because she should know better. She's not stupid. She's not a stupid person. I can't sit here and say she's just ignorant on the issue. That's not the case. She knows what the fuck she's talking about. And she's talking about and saying this for a reason. What that reason is, it's hard for me to say, but she's not stupid, and she's wording it and framing it like this on purpose, and I don't like it. So, very sad day, very disappointing. Tulsi Gabbard, not for Medicare for all. She will be in the next debate, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% sure she's in the 4th debate. Let me know in the comment section if that's true. A lot of what I talk about is I don't have like Google up, and I don't want to stop in the middle and go look it up. If you guys know off the top of your head If she's in the fourth debate already, if it's been decided, let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate it. And that's pretty much that. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard isn't for Medicare for all, full stop. So let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. I'm always down to hear from you guys. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If not, let me know why. Talk to me in the comment section. I'm always down for some open dialogue. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.